One, two, three. Let's start the show.
We are living in a volatile political environment. You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorable.
Come on, man.
If the Trump administration approves a vaccine before or after the election, should Americans take it, and would you take it?
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely. But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
Come on, man. And if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It was a debate.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. I'm ready to record, guys. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Deplorable Talk Show. You are here with Mr. Deplorable himself, Israel Perez. And this episode's a week late. I got sick. I don't know what the hell it was. I'm still kind of there. I'm still snotty. It won't go away. I need it to go away. I'm done with it. Done. I'm done waking up, hacking shit up. I'm done blowing my nose. I'm done. I was really hoping I was going to test positive for COVID-19. Didn't. I've been testing, and it won't pop up as positive. Because at least then, I get 5 days off from work, paid. And now I just get to go into work, snotty, blowing my nose. Members are treating me like leopards. And I said members. That gives you any indication of where I work. Better ask somebody. Anyways, also, if you guys hear my voice crackling, it's also because I was at a Slipknot concert this week. And so my voice is still recovering from that. Got really rowdy. Anyways, so guys, it's Pride Month. And if you live in a city or near a campus with a population maybe more than 100,000 people, you can bet that there will be some sort of celebration or parade this month, And we like to be inclusive here at the Deplorable Talk Show. So here's a video of a couple guys, or I should say gals, I guess, teaching you how to walk in heels just in case you want to join in on the festivities.
So we think it's about time that we teach our older straight brother how to walk in heels. Let's bring him in.
Hi, I'm Kerrigan, and I'm clearly the shortest in the family.
So we figured these 7-inch stripper heels would be pretty practical for your first time.
Jesus.
Okay, 1 foot in front of the other. Okay, you got it. Breathe. Okay, no, sure. Relax. Suck in the gut, stick out that butt, and tighten that tuck.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Jesus.
Smile.
I'm smiling, I'm waving, I'm sucking.
Oh, this is good. We're looking good. Okay, don't walk like you have a damn up your butt. Relax the cheeks.
Relax the
like
cheeks.
You just took a big shit.
I gotta say that.
Okay. Remember, guys, it's all about the tuck. Anyways, and if for all you parents out there, if you want to teach your children the acceptance of the LGBTQ plus or whatever the other words are that are in there, during Pride Month, here's a video montage of the current revolt showing other parents doing just the thing I just said. So, as far as I know, that sign back there says it's not going to lick itself. And they're at an adult club.
If you can do it, if you think you can walk the runway with the girl, who wants to be a diva for the day? Yeah, everybody come back here. All right.
Like how the curtain revolt makes it seem so ominous, dude.
On the count of three, here we go. One, walk for me. Two,
And for the audio listeners out there, this kid's walking down the runway, their makeshift runway with a, I guess the word would be tranny. And then now there's a lady dancing promiscuously while kids throw dollars at her. It's just a wholesome day here at this adult club. Jesus. Okay, we're done there. We're done. I'm done looking at it. You know, here's the thing. I understand drag shows, you know, I've been to some burlesque shows where there is some drag happening there, and I understand the arts of it. I understand the performative aspect of it. On a stage, mind you. You know? And if you are a parent and you want to take your kid to a drag show that's, you know, on stage, that's up to you. You know, at least you can be there and you can, if they need to close their eyes or they need to turn or you need to go, you can leave when you need to. And if you want to subject your kids to that, that's fine. Whatever. But when you take your kids to an adult club where a sign that says in the background, it's not going to lick itself, and then you have your kids participate in the sexualized dancing by throwing dollars at them, you know, indoctrinating your kids to make it think that it's okay to dance for money, that it's a whole other thing, you know. When I was growing, the whole point of a dad, and it was a joke, but was to a dad to their father, to their daughter, was that my only goal in life was to keep her from hooking and stripping. Now it's getting to the point where they're just saying like, hey, no, it's okay. If this is the way you need to make money, it's fine. You know, you get older, go be a sex worker. That's what it feels like they're doing. I don't know. That's just me. You know? But anyways, happy Pride Month, people. So today's big lead topics will be about the Great Replacement Theory. Is it racist? I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. Monkeypox. It is endemic. And, you know, like I said earlier, it's Pride Month. And based on what we know about monkeypox, Pride Parades could be the super spreader event. It needs to become the new COVID. You know, and our final topic for the day will be about the school shooting in Texas. It's going to be a heavy one, you know, and I'm glad I'm behind on the news because new information keeps on coming out, and I have to say those 19 officers are starting to look like 19 vaginas who should be fired. That's my opinion, though. You know, that's just what this whole show is my opinion. So since once again there's a lot to cover, we're going to dive right into the big lead segments. So like I said, we're going to start off with the Great Replacement Theory. What is it? What is its origins? Both great questions. Now, and depending on what left-leaning media outlet you ask, you will get different answers. Now, some say the Great Replacement Theory stems from a French racist named Bernard Camus. I think it's C-A-M-U-S. I'm going to say it wrong throughout this whole episode, but it's okay. And here is an article from thenation.com titled, How Gay Icon Bernard Camus Became the Ideologue of White Supremacy. So let's go down. We already know it's going to be a great read. So these days, the author of Tricks is better known as the principal architect of Le Grand Replacement, the Great Replacement. The conspiracy theory that white Christian Europe is being invaded and destroyed by hordes of black and brown immigrants from North and Sub-Sahara Africa. Since 2012, when it appeared as the title of a book, self-published, the term Great Replacement has become a rallying cry of white supremacists around the world. The demonstrators who stormed through Charlottesville, Virginia in August 2017, the man who killed 11 worshippers at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh in October 2018, and especially Brenton Tarrant, the suspect in the New Zealand mosque attacks in March. Tarrant posted his own, The Great Replacement, and that was a horrific one. I remember watching that. That will never leave my mind. What he recorded that day. And it's equivalent to what the kid at the Buffalo shooting recorded. Worse, I would say. It was pretty bad. I didn't watch the Buffalo kid one. You know, you see one, you see them all. But anyways, trying to find a non-biased summary of this book is hard. You know, if you type in La Grande Replacement, which is the name of the book, all you find is, white supremacy and far-right conspiracy, which makes me think no one has read the book. But Wikipedia is the closest thing to a non-biased summary, so we'll source from them, obviously. So Wikipedia says the origins theory states that with the complicity or cooperation of replacist elites, white European populations are being demographically and culturally replaced with non-white peoples, especially from Muslim-majority countries through mass migration, demographic growth, and a drop in birth rates of white Europeans. It specifically associates the presence of Muslims in France with potential danger and destruction of French culture and civilization. Now, personally, I don't think it's inherently racist to fear culture change. I think it's inherently human, but not racist. Many wars were fought to preserve one's culture, and many wars were fought to instill one's culture. So all you have to do is look at the Middle East from the 60s to the present day, and we could probably go further back because it's relevant in all throughout history. So when you look at Renard's claims for why he is worried about Muslim migration into France, on the surface it does look racist. That's because it's a white man complaining about brown people moving into France. But when you take a step back and actually look at the bigger picture, you start to see his complaints are not about race, but about ideologies and cultural norms. The French Muslim cultures are drastically different, and I shouldn't have to explain that to you, which makes fears of mass migration understandable, because Muslims are not migrating there because they like French culture. They are migrating there because they are displaced. They are bringing their culture with them, which they would like to incorporate into this new society with no understanding of the French culture. It's kind of like the migration of the liberals from blue states to conservative red states. Conservatives in red states are afraid that liberals will bring their political, economic, and social beliefs to red states and outnumber them in votes, changing the political landscape of the state and creating the very thing liberals were trying to escape from in the first place. So, I don't think this man is racist for expressing these fears of mass migration. Is he ignorant? Sure. Maybe. I haven't read the book. But being ignorant does not make you racist, or your writing's racist at that. In an article written by Vox, Renard strongly opposed any associations of his writing with white nationalists. The article says, I decided to reach out to Camus on Sunday to ask him what he thought of the fact that neo-Nazis and white nationalists in the United States were chanting slogans that appeared to have been influenced by his ideas, whether they knew it or not. He seemed surprised by the notion that his ideas could in any way be associated with his with the white nationalists marching in Charlottesville. He condemned the violence and insisted he has no connection to Nazism. If the marchers are Nazis and or anti-Semites, or if they make violent attacks, I am of course very much against all of that, and I cannot say they are inspired by me. But, he said, well, I can very well understand why people in America would chant, "We won't be replaced." And I approve of that. So, the Great Replacement Theory. What is it? Ask the question, right? From what I've gathered, the Great Replacement Theory appears to be a man's opinion on the dangers of mass migration hijacked by radical ideologists to fill their agendas. The media wants you to believe it's a right-wing conspiracy theory to radicalize young white males. And they know that linking it to Renard's writings will debunk their allegations. So that's why you rarely hear it. They just kind of talk about it and just go, oh yeah, it's from this guy. A racist. He's not. So they go one step further and say it's a racist thought process that dates back to the Nazis, and Renard's writings helped bring it back to fruition. Here's a clip of them doing just that.
Officials believe the gunman accused of the mass shooting in Buffalo was inspired by the white replacement conspiracy theory. Now, this is a baseless belief that white people are being slowly but intentionally replaced by minorities and immigrants.
The concept was once a fringe theory, but now it's embraced by many Republican lawmakers and Fox hosts. CNN's Sunland Serfati explains.
What was once a fringe white supremacist conspiracy theory has now become mainstream.
Jews will not replace us. We know what the Democrats are up to here.
They're not talking about brown people. They're talking about the Jewish population. But okay.
They want to replace the American electorate.
With a growing number of Republican lawmakers now openly promoting the far-right so-called Great Replacement Theory.
For many Americans, what seems to be happening, or what they believe right now is happening, is what appears to them is we're replacing national-born American, native-born Americans to permanently transform the political landscape of this very nation.
The racist anti-immigrant theory that says non-white immigrants are being brought to replace America's white population.
This administration wants complete open borders, and you have to ask yourself why. Is it really they want to remake the demographics of America?
Democrat politicians who have decided that they can't win re-election in 2022 unless they bring in a large number of new voters to replace the voters that are already here. That's what this is about.
The white nationalist conspiracy theory is detailed in French writer Renaud Camus' 2011 book called The Great Replacement, and elements of replacement theory appear to have motivated some of the most heinous recent mass murders in the U.S. and around the world.
So, yeah, they did it. White nationalist Renaud Camus. Hey. They don't even give any of his background. Just kind of just throw it out there. Oh no. So, to sum this up, the Nazis did have rhetoric about Jews. That's probably why, those white nationalists, the Nazis out in Charlottesville were chanting, "Jews will not replace us." And if you squint and you hold Renard's writings and what the Nazis thought about Jews up next to each other, you might find some resemblance. It's a stretch if you do find some resemblance. I'm going to say that. Very big stretch. No, the Nazis didn't think that the Jewish people were there to replace them. The Nazis believed that Jews were part of a secret cabal led by the Jewish banker elites who were attempting to take over the world. No, that belief all came from one book called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. When the media tries to truncate a story and steer it straight to the Nazis, it is because the story has more context to it that does not serve the agenda. So, they go, you see, this, it's Nazi. It's Nazi, people. Come on. No. But what about the story in between that? It's subliminal politics is what it is. Now, that's what they keep on doing to you. They go, you see that? That's Nazi. That white supremacy. It's just, oh, man. Anyways, they show you something and label it racist constantly. So then when you hear about it from someone who actually can explain the full context to you and show you that, the media is wrong, you automatically shut down the conversation and continue believing the false narrative. Insane. But speaking of media narratives, let's jump into our next topic. And here's a narrative that the media tried to spin, but as we start learning more about how it spreads, reporting on it might come off a little homophobic. And as we know, the media is not going to touch that with the 10-foot dildo. Oh, come on, guys. It's Pride Month. Anyway, so monkeypox. It's a thing, guys. How dangerous is it? Well, that depends on the variants. There are 2, by the way, maybe 3. Biden says we should be wary of it. Alex Jones thinks it was released by a secret cabal that is funded by tech giants. And the media is having a hard time reporting on it. And if you don't believe me, here's Sky News doing just that.
One unusual aspect of this is that a high proportion of the cases are gay or bisexual men. Not all. And it's important to say that this is not a disease that's likely to be spread by sex, and it's likely to have nothing to do with sexuality. But health authorities are trying to raise awareness in men that they need to be aware of the symptoms because it may be spreading within a sexual network. Men who are having sex with other men who may be at risk simply because direct and intimate skin-to-skin contact could be the route of transmission. And that's why they are trying to raise awareness. But that has to be balanced, of course, against any potential for stigma. This could affect anybody, but at the moment they are very concerned about spreading within the gay and bisexual community in particular.
I mean, did anybody notice how fucking lightly he was walking on those eggshells? So if I'm understanding him right, it is spreading amongst the male gay community, but it is not being spread by anal or oral sex. And even though medical authorities are saying it's spreading amongst the male gay community, they want to stress that this disease is not a stigma on the gay community. And it's not a disease that affects only the gay community, even though most cases are within the male gay community. That's a lot of verbal juggling to say it's only spreading in the male gay community, but it's not just affecting the gay community, which contradicts what we are seeing. So the first cluster of cases was discovered in the United Kingdom in May, but the super spreader event occurred shortly afterwards in Spain at a festival called Darkland. So let's bring this article up. Monkeypox cases in Belgium may be linked to fetish festival organizers. I don't know why that's there right there, but let's scroll down here, Organizers of fetish festivals in Belgium are warning attendees of possible exposure to monkeypox after public health officials linked 3 cases to the event that recently concluded in Antwerp. The Darklands Festival posted the notice on its website on Friday, the same day Belgium public health officials confirmed cases of the rare viral disease. And here's the Darklands post right here. So, important info. This is an important message to all visitors of Darklands 2022 regarding confirmed cases of the monkeypox virus. The health department of the Belgium government has confirmed 3 cases of the monkeypox virus linked to visitors at Darklands. There is a reason to assume that the virus has been brought in by visitors from abroad to the festivals after recent cases in other countries. So, what exactly happens at Darklands? You could argue that just because it's a fetish festival it doesn't make it exclusively gay. Sure. But all you have to do is look at their website to find out what demographic they are curating, the festival to. Are you ready to go deep? Anyways, they got a video here that we can help us further understand, who they're trying to engage.
Warning, incoming subspace message.
As of now, we, the Allegiance of Purity, reinstate Order 69. All men are bound to chastity. Only 3 strongholds remain. It is only a matter of time before I capture, torture, and discipline every single male life form in our galaxy. Now, my precious, precious chastity troopers, bring me the heads of those rebel leaders.
Transmission ended.
Okay, hold on, Peanut. It's time to save the galaxy.
Okay. I think we got it, huh? Very Star Wars-esque. No. I mean, realistically, guys, all we have to do is just look at this. Look, what's that? The original home of the hidden back zipper gear. Come on. Oh, Jesus. Anyways, just in case what I showed you was not enough, here are some activities you could take part in. One of them's called Canine, Camp Canine. So, and from the website, it says Camp Canine at Darklands is dedicated to pups and their handlers, with the giant ball pit, mosh area, and plenty of puppy play equipment on hand. This is where pups, handlers, and friends can join in on the fun and pup out. And, for those of you who are, unfamiliar with puppy play, here's a video to kind of show you what that looks like. Okay. Jesus Christ. I think you guys got the gist, huh? Anyways, another activity you can partake in, at this festival is called Horse Fair. So, Horse Fair. On Saturday, you can join our Horse Fair hosted by the Boots. Last year, the event took place in a small, dark room and 150 tickets sold out at a quick speed. This year, we moved the Horse Fair to the big dark room and doubled the amount of available tickets. The dark room will be reserved exclusively for this event. Choose whether you will join as a blindfolded mare, bottom, or a hungry stallion, top. A team of stable masters will take care of the safety of the mares. Nice. And here's a photo of what that possibly looks like. That's a thing, huh? Jesus Christ. Anyways. No, I was just thinking about this. Can you imagine? All the secretly gay married men, who were out in Belgium on business, the week of the event. You can't hide monkeypox, and how much you want to make a bet that some of the men who are at an adult sauna in Madrid, attended this Darklands festival. Monkeypox outbreak linked to super spreader event at an adult sauna. So, monkeypox cases in Spain have been linked to a super spreader event at an adult sauna in Madrid. Enrique Ruiz Escudero, the region's cabinet minister for health of the community, said on Friday that health officials had traced many of Spain's 30 monkeypox cases to a single sauna in the capital. Now, remember, just because it has spread in areas frequented by gay men, doesn't imply that it's a gay culture stigma. All right? You've got to remember that, guys. You got to remember that. Now, just in case you recently, have been to a fetish festival or an adult sauna, here are the symptoms you should be on the lookout for. The CDC signs and symptoms. In humans, the symptoms of monkeypox are similar to but milder than the symptoms of smallpox. So it's basically smallpox in a sense, I guess. Monkeypox begins with fever, headache, muscle aches, and exhaustion. The main difference between symptoms of smallpox and monkeypox is that monkeypox caused lymph nodes to swell, while smallpox does not. The incubation period for monkeypox is usually 7 to 14 days, but can range to 5 to 21. Jesus, that's a big fucking time range. Okay. The illness begins with fever, headache, muscle aches, backache, swollen lymph node, chills, and exhaustion. Within 1 to 3 days, sometimes longer, after the appearance of a fever, the patient develops a rash, often beginning on the face, then spreading to other parts of the body. Lesions progress through the following stages before falling off. So, there we go. Let's end this topic with some fun facts about monkeypox, and this is from the Washington Post. So, monkeypox is named from the animals in which it was discovered. The disease cropped up in 1958 among monkeys kept for research, according to the CDC, more than a decade before a human case was identified in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It always starts in Africa somehow, huh? Oh, and also the CDC or the WHO wants to change the name of monkeypox because they feel it's racist. I don't think, when I think monkey, I don't, anyways, let's continue on here. The monkeypox can be deadly, but 2 major strains of the virus pose different risks. About 1 in 10 people infected with a Congo Basin strain have been found to die, according to the WHO. Kind of bad, huh? 1 of 10. That's a lot worse than COVID. While a West African strain appeared to be fatal for about 1 in 100 people infected. So that milder strain is the one infecting people who were hospitalized in Britain, health authorities say. Well, that's good news. Sorry. At least your chances of dying are low, and if you catch the disease, you're probably not going to die. Yeah. Good on you. No, so now I couldn't think of any good way to segue into this sad story we are about to talk about. But I guess I could say, speaking of good news, there's some bad news. So the Uvalde, Texas shooting. And there has been so much going on with this story that no one really knows the truth about how this happened. The cops say one thing, the news contradicts them, and then parents come out to speak up and tell their stories, which contradicts what the media is reporting. And this type of contradictory reporting from three parties breeds conspiracy theories. And the most peculiar is the shooter's bankroll. Which brings up the question: how did he obtain the funds for 2 guns and hordes of supply of ammunition, because he had a shit ton, and the truck he owned. And I guess all this can be explained with a minimum wage fast food job. If he was living with his grandma, that's what it seemed like what was going on. But it's still kind of a weird conspiracy theory. Well, it's becoming a conspiracy theory. But so I guess the first place we're going to start off here is with what actually happened. What we know. And here's a timeline breakdown of the day provided by the Associated Press. Get up here. Boom. So, I'm going to start from right here. 11:27 a.m. Oh, hold on. I think we're starting a little too soon there, huh? There we go. Sometime after 11 a.m., Ramos shoots his grandmother in the face, according to Texas Public Safety Director Steve McCraw. Gilbert Gallegos, 82, who lives across the street from Ramos and his grandmother, heard a shot as he was in his yard. He runs to the front and sees Ramos speed away in a pickup truck and Ramos' grandmother coming toward him, pleading for help. Let's continue on here. I need to get some. There we go. 11:27 a.m. Video shows a teacher whom authorities haven't publicly identified propping open an exterior door of the school, McCraw said. 11:28 a.m. Ramos crashes the pickup into a drainage ditch behind the school, McCraw said. 2 men at a nearby funeral home hear the crash and run out to see what happened. They see Ramos jump out of the passenger side carrying an AR-15 style rifle and a bag full of ammunition. The men run and Ramos fires at them but does not hit them. One of the men falls, but both make it back to the funeral home. The teacher who propped open the door, meanwhile, runs inside to grab her phone so she can call 911 and report the crash. But as she comes back out while on her phone, she realizes Ramos has a gun. She removes the rock that had propped open the door, and it closes behind her, but the door does not lock. So, at the time, when news was unfolding, news outlets were told by, the Texas Department of the Public Safety that a brave resource officer confronted the gunman outside of Robb Elementary. Well, that was wrong. That never happened. No, the resource officer was not on the campus that day. Why is that? If we look at this article here, McCraw further clarified last week that the officer was not on campus at the time of the shooting, but was close enough that he was one of the first responding officers on the scene. And officials have not addressed why the school resource officer was not at the school at the time of the shooting. Also, the media was blaming the teacher who propped the door open with the rock, saying that she was the reason the shooter got into the school. But no, we also later learned that was a lie. Texas official reportedly reversed an earlier claim that the teacher had propped open a door 5 minutes before Ramos entered the school and instead said the teacher had closed the door prior to the shooting, but the door did not lock as it should have. Which is odd. Why didn't it lock? And the 2 guys who were at the nearby funeral home who got shot at by Ramos, one of them had this to say to a reporter days after the shooting. And let's give it a watch.
Speaking out for the first time exclusively with NBC News, Cody Briseño recounts the moment he ran outside the funeral home he works at and approached the Uvalde gunman, all happening seconds after the shooter crashed his pickup truck.
How far were you from him?
I was from maybe 8-10 feet around there. And
as he takes out this rifle, he's looking at me, and I tell my coworker, "Oh man, he has a gun. He has a gun." And as soon as I say that, I tell him, "Run, run! He has a gun." But I'm looking back, and this guy's already pointing at us, and you just hear pa 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 pa.
Official court documents state Briseño and his co-worker were among the first people to face the shooter, both escaping gunfire and running back inside the funeral home. Briseño says minutes later, his wife arrived bringing him a gun just as police showed up at the scene. He says they stopped them from going after the gunman.
But my intention was to stop him. And I mean, I feel guilty, man, because I couldn't stop him.
Briseño is now helping with the funerals of several of those killed, including Amarillo Garza, a relative of his.
I had to dig the grave, set up the tent, and lower her casket.
Back at Robb.
No. That man was willing to do what the cops were not willing to do. He was a member of the community, a family member of one of the victims, and he possessed the courage the cops lacked that day. Fucking wrong, dude. It is. He was willing to run into that school when the cops weren't. Wrong. 11:30 a.m. 911 receives a call saying there was a crash and a man with a gun at the school, McCraw said. 11:31 a.m. Ramos begins shooting at the school from the school parking lot as police cars begin to arrive at the funeral home, McCraw said. Ramos then makes his way around the school building. 11:32 a.m. Ramos fires multiple shots at the school and then makes his way toward the unlocked door, officials say. 11:33 a.m., 5 minutes after crashing the pickup, Ramos enters the school and begins shooting into adjoining classrooms, 111 and 112, McCraw said. He fires more than 100 rounds. 11:35 a.m., 3 city police officers entered the school through the same door that Ramos used and are later followed by 4 other officers, McCraw said, putting a total of 7 inside the building. 2 officers received grazing wounds from Ramos, McCraw said. Gunfire continues with 16 rounds being shot in total, McCraw says. It's unclear who fired the shots. 11:51 a.m. A police sergeant and other law enforcement begin to arrive. 12:03 p.m. A female, age unknown, calls 911 and whispers that she's in the classroom 112, McCraw said. That call lasts 1 minute and 23 seconds. 12:03 p.m. Officers continue to enter the school with as many as 19 officers in the hallway near the room where Ramos is held up. 12:06 p.m. Ana Marie Esperanza, a spokeswoman for the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District, posts on the district's Facebook page. All campuses are under lockdown status. Uvalde CISD parents, please know at the time all campuses are under lockdown status due to gunshots in the area. No, I mean gunshots in the school. The students and staff are safe in the building. The buildings are secure in lockdown status. Your cooperation is needed at the time by not visiting the campus. As soon as the lockdown status is lifted, you will be notified. Thank you for your cooperation. 12:10 p.m. The female, age unknown, who called 911 at 12:03 p.m., calls 911 again and says there are multiple dead. She calls again at 12:13 p.m. and then again at 12:16 p.m., when she says there are 8 to 9 students alive. 12:10 p.m. The first group of deputy U.S. Marshals from Del Rio arrived from nearly 70 miles away to assist the various other law enforcement officers already on the scene. U.S. Border Patrol tactical team members arrive with shields. And that's at 12:15. 12:19 p.m. Another girl in room 111, calls 911 and ends the call when a fellow student tells her to hang up. 12:21 p.m. Ramos fires his gun again, and officers believe he's at one of the doors of one of the adjoining classrooms. McCraw says. Police move down the hallway. 12:21 p.m. 3 shots can be heard during a 911 call, McGraw said. And we're going to stop right there real quick. Now, mind you, the gunman has been in the school for approximately 45 minutes, give or take, a minute or two. To me, that's too fucking long for an active shooter to be walking around the school with officers on the scene. Who knew Ramos was actively opening fire at the school before he entered the school. Parents on the scene were willing to enter the building and confront the shooter in hopes to save their child's life and the lives of other children. And the cops threatened to arrest parents because they were interfering with an active shooter investigation. And one more thing before we continue. The cops at the time we stopped, which was 12:21, were huddled outside of the classroom. 19 cops sat outside of the door and did nothing while they continued to hear gunshots after gunshots after gunshots. Why? Well, they needed keys to get in to open up the door. Fucking Jesus, dude. So 12:36 p.m., a child calls 911 for 21 seconds. Around this time, a girl calls 911 and is told to stay on the line and stay very quiet. The girl says he shot the door. 12:43 p.m., the girl urges 911 dispatcher, please send the police now. 12:46 p.m., the girl says she can hear the police next door. 12:47 p.m., she again asks 911 to please send the police now. Jesus, dude. 12:50 p.m., officers open the doors with keys from a school employee, enter the classroom and kill Ramos. McCraw said. Shots can be heard over 911 call. 12:51 p.m., officers can be heard moving children out of the room. Jesus, man. 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's how long the gunman was in the school. Police twiddled their thumbs for 1 hour and 15 minutes because, they could have gotten killed, as was some of their excuses. Now, you might be saying, they were probably following protocol. But here's an article that says otherwise. I created the FBI's active shooter program. The officers in Uvalde did not follow their training. Ms. Schwitz, an FBI special agent who retired in 2017 after 20 years, created and ran the agency's active shooter program after the shootings at Sandy Hook Elementary School in 2012. And it says here in the article, in the past 2 years, the Uvalde School District has hosted at least 2 active shooter trainings, according to the reporting by the Times. One of them was 2 months ago. Current protocol and best practices say officers must persistently pursue efforts to neutralize a shooter when a shooting is underway. This is true even if only one officer is present. This is without question the right approach. The cops failed to perform their duties. All of this tells me that when it comes down to it, the men who swore to protect the citizens decided to protect themselves, and they should be ashamed. Texas police had a chance to show America that a well-armed population with a well-funded police can save lives. They fucked that up, man. And now you have Democrats in office calling for gun control reform, and every Democrat running for office, including Beto O'Rourke, is exploiting this tragedy in hopes to gain votes at the polls. And he might. He might. And you have Hollywood elites like Matthew McConaughey exploiting this tragedy in hopes of jumping on the political bandwagon. And that's me being a little harsh to him, but I don't like what he had to say. Well, I don't like what he came through it with gun reform and the way he was acting, And that's basically what he did. He put on a performance at a White House briefing. It was a performance. Let's give that a watch, huh?
But again, you know what every one of these parents wanted, what they asked us for? What every parent separately expressed in their own way to Camilla and me? That they want their children's dreams to live on. That they want their children's dreams to continue to accomplish something after they are gone. They want to make their loss of life matter. Look, we heard from so many people, right? Families of the deceased, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, Texas Rangers, hunters, Border Patrol, and responsible gun owners who won't give up their Second Amendment right to bear arms. And you know what they all said? We want secure and safe schools, and we want gun laws that won't make it so easy for the bad guys to get these damn guns. So, we know it's on the table. We need to invest in mental health care. We need safer schools. We need to restrain sensationalized media coverage. We need to restore our family values. We need to restore our American values.
Jesus, why are you talking like that, dude?
And we need responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership. We need background checks. We need to raise the minimum age to purchase an AR-15 rifle to 21. We need a waiting period for those rifles. We need red flag laws and consequences for those who abuse them. These are reasonable, practical, tactical regulations to our nation, states, communities, schools, and homes. Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked by some deranged individuals. These regulations are not a step back. They're a step forward for a civil society and the Second Amendment. Look, is this cure-all? Hell no. But people are hurting. Families are, parents are. And look, as divided as our country is, this gun responsibility issue is one that we agree on more than we don't. It really is. Look, this should be a nonpartisan issue. This should not be a partisan issue. There is not a Democratic or Republican value in one single act of these shooters. It's not. But people in power have failed to act. So we're asking you, and I'm asking you, will you please ask yourselves, can both sides rise above? Can both sides see beyond the political problem at hand and admit that we have a life preservation problem on our hands? Because we got a chance right now to reach for and to grasp a higher ground above our political affiliations. A chance to make a choice that does more than protect your party. A chance to make a choice that protects our country now and for the next generation. We got to take a sober, humble, and honest look in the mirror and rebrand ourselves based on what we truly value. What we truly value. We got to get some real courage and honor our immortal obligations instead of our party affiliations. Enough with the counterpunching. Enough of the invalidation of the other side. Let's come to the common table that represents the American people. Find a middle ground, the place where most of us Americans live anyway, especially on this issue. Because I promise you, America, you and me, we are not as divided as we are being told we are.
That's enough. Bravo, Mr. McConaughey. Bravo. No, man, this is the thing. Every single proposal he gave in terms of common sense gun laws violate our Second Amendment rights, or they already exist. No, we already do background checks. And I don't know where this fucking thing comes from where it's like, oh, well, they don't do background checks. Every fucking person does. If you go buy a gun, all right, from a gun store, you have to do a background check. And if something on your background check comes up that shouldn't keep you from getting a gun, that gun store can then say, I'm still not selling you the gun because I don't feel comfortable for doing it, to sell you a gun. You know? It's there. I don't think you've tried to buy a gun. I really don't think he has. Because he wouldn't be saying that bullshit. Background checks. It's like, the only time a background check doesn't need to happen is if you're there, and there's some states that do this, and I think Washington State still did it, and I think they might have got rid of it, but it used to be if you were selling your gun to a family member, then you can just sign a piece of paper, and I think you could have sold it to a friend too. You could have signed a piece of paper that you then turned into the FLV to say that you transferred gun ownership. But if that gun that you transferred gun ownership, something bad happened with it, you're in trouble too. So you have to make sure that the person that you're transferring the gun to is a responsible person. Otherwise, you're getting fucked along with him. That's the only time where you don't have to, provide a background check. And I guess if you want to get rid of that, that's fine. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, because if somebody is up, that lives out in the rural country and their local gun store is 20 miles away, you're going to make them drive all the way to their local gun store to then sit there and, do a background check that might take up to 3 days. So that means they have to make the trek back out there. Like, no, I don't know. I don't, it doesn't make sense to me. Especially when you're just transferring it over to your son or your cousin, a shotgun. You'd have to do it with the shotgun. And then raising the age to purchase a firearm to 18 is in direct violation of the Second Amendment. And if they were to try and get that in, I guarantee you it would be overturned by the Supreme Court. And the same thing would happen if we instituted a waiting period. That's infringement. It's restricting you from getting your guns. It's restricting you from being able to protect yourself. A lot of people who buy guns, they buy it because they're in fear that, something's going to happen to them. So now they have to wait, 2 weeks, a month to get their gun because they have been threatened by other people. So like, no. And then the other one he mentioned was red flag laws. A lot of states already have that. But what he wants is the government to institute a national red flag law, which would then make it so that way, if let's say you have anxiety, they could say that you are not allowed to own a gun because you have a mental disorder. You have anxiety. You have depression. You can't own a gun. Let's say you get into a little argument with your wife, and the nosy neighbor down the street kind of hears you guys, screaming at each other, and then calls the police. Well, somebody has to go to jail, and somebody's getting charged with domestic abuse. All right. You go to jail, you can't have a gun anymore. Because the nosy neighbor, called the cops on something that was just you and your spouse arguing, or you and your girlfriend or boyfriend arguing. And that brings in the boyfriend loophole law that they want to put in too, which is saying that if you are dating, not married to, but dating somebody with a misdemeanor charge on the record or something that keeps you from having a gun, that the state says that the government will say that you are not allowed to have a gun with, you can't have a gun yourself. But it's like, what? You're not even married to that person, nor are you living with that person. That makes it so that way you can't have a gun. No, to me, any gun law that restricts an individual's ability to obtain or carry a firearm is infringement on our Second Amendment rights. Period. Period. And in that 21-minute speech, he stood there swaying his head and body like he had Tourette's, waiting for applause that never came. Mr. McConaughey did nothing, but play on the people's emotions in order to persuade House members and senators to vote against their constituents in order to give the government more control over our rights. That's what he did right there. Now, and what happened in Uvalde was a tragedy. Yeah, but I don't think it could have been prevented. The kid bought the rifle and handgun legally. He passed the background check. The kid had no previous record. This was a random event and no law was going to prevent it. There's just some things you can't prevent. And then going through and saying, well, this tragedy happened. We're going to take away everybody's gun rights because of this tragedy. It's like, no. You don't take away rights because somebody else did something wrong. It doesn't work that way. And our Second Amendment is there to make sure that doesn't happen. Anyways, that concludes the big lead segment, guys. And it's unfortunate that we have to end on such a heavy note. But we have a surprise for you. So today we have a special guest on the show. And the special guest's name is Justin Trudeau. So I'm really excited about this interview, and I'm surprised he agreed to come on the show. So, introducing Justin Trudeau. I thought they said he was already in the session. What the hell's going on here? My Jesus. Mr. Trudeau? I guess thank you for coming on the show. Why are you in blackface? Ah, shit, man. I thought you was black. Why would you think I was black? Well, it's because your name's misspelled. Israel is spelled A-E-L. You spelled it E-A-L. I figured, shit, this is one of my black brothers. Is real. Because you is real? Yeah, I've heard that before. Even if I was black, what made you think coming on, in blackface and yelling the N-word was the way to greet me? Oh, come on, Iz. I could call you Iz, right? Yeah, as long as you drop the voice. Nah, no can do. Can't break character. I had a black friend growing up, and I used to do this because I felt it made him feel represented when I used to take him out to the country clubs. Those blacks love to swing them clubs. Jesus, that sounded fucking awful. Did he tell you that he appreciated you doing that for him? Come to think of it, he always seemed a little nervous. But we're not here to talk about my black friend. Yes. So I saw your announcement the other day that you are banning the sale of handguns and issuing a mandatory buyback of all rifles. And you are quoted saying, there is no need for rifles unless it's for sport or hunting. So what about all the people who live in rural areas that deal with moose, wolves, and other violent animals? How are they supposed to protect themselves? That question you asked is a bunch of whataboutery that does not contribute to the prevention of mass shootings, so I'm not going to entertain it. Okay. Well, how about this? If this legislation passes, what are you going to do when the rural Canadians, which make up 20% of your population, do not comply with the mandatory buyback? Well, I'll put it this way. If they choose not to comply with the mandate, I will give them an offer they cannot refuse. It will be more like an ultimatum. It's either you get down or you lay down. Whatever option they choose, they will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Samuel Jackson, huh? I couldn't help myself. It's hella fun to quote Mr. Jackson while my face is painted like this. Your response to my question makes you appear a little dictatorish, which makes perfect sense if this is true. So there is a chance your father might be Fidel Castro. Would you mind clarifying whether or not the rumor is true? Oh, I guess he didn't like that question, huh? Well, I guess that concludes the interview with Justin Trudeau. All right. Well, that ends the show, guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please hit the like button and definitely subscribe. If you do subscribe, make sure to ring the bell. I upload episodes weekly, and I wouldn't want you to miss out. Audio listeners, you can subscribe to the show as well. Thank you for listening. But hey, you want to watch the videos we played. You can watch the Deplorable Talk Show on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. You can listen to the Deplorable Talk Show on Spotify, Apple, Google, and Stitcher. And you can find links in the description, or you can head to the deplorableent.com. That is the general hub for all things deplorable. Anyways, take care, guys. See you in the next episode.